just getting back to like playing how I know how to play and just playing free and within the flow, not forcing anything. And I think nobody forces anything, so it makes it easier to just get open shots because we're gonna keep moving it till we get a great shot. We run the floor, everybody's rotating, and that's just how I instinctually play. So it's been a pretty easy transition.
Third quarter specifically today, had a really good third quarter. Basically, you just go through what were you?
Well, the posts were getting a lot of deflections, and it led to easy transition buckets. Or they were just scrambling, not matched up with who they wanted to be, and we were able to exploit that. So it really started there with the posts guarding really well, getting their hands on balls and tipping them out, and then we were able to scoop them up and run the other side. And then Courtney has to continue to flip my mindset of just being a reverser and a decoy in the corner and stuff like that and get back to looking for my shot. And so that's what we talked about at halftime. And I think in the third quarter came out and try to show that.
Where is the defensive buy-in come from for this team? Is it like the franchise identity? Is it start day one in practice? Like what is the source of that defensive buy-in along with?
I mean, it starts with Cheryl for sure, but I think our anchor is Lan. Like, I think that just her ability to dictate every possession, along with Fee, but just her energy and her aggression on the ball, like making it hard for the post players to reverse the ball and getting deflections, things like that, allows us to really dictate as guards. But I think everything starts with our post players, like their ability to be up in passing lanes and dictate. It's really, really hard, and that's something that it doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but just her energy and awareness on every possession is really great for us.
You like something. One for each of you, if I could, Dejanay, to start. Just what do you do to prepare for defensive schemes in the middle of a season like this? Are you watching film? Like what is it that has allowed you to kind of fit in as seamlessly as you have right away on the defensive end here?
At the end of the day, I feel like it's just about playing hard and competing, making it difficult, and that's not, it doesn't have anything to do with schemes. It's just about heart and about effort and about wanting to do that. And then everything else kind of just falls into place. Everyone does the same things. So it's not like it's that difficult to adjust to a new team just guarding the same people. But I just feel like it's just playing hard, and I'm able to just really lock in on the ball or whoever I'm guarding because I trust that behind me everyone's going to be there rotating and have my back if I do get clipped. But as long as everyone's doing it at 100% effort, then I feel like we're going to be great.
And Kayla, for you, just how meaningful is it for this team this year to have a plan B in all these instances? Natisha comes in and gives you these extra minutes when Courtney gets her fourth foul. You have Masha coming off the bench. It would be this extra big. Do you feel, how important is it to have those plan Bs? And do you feel like this team has, let's say, more plan Bs even than last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just next man up mentality. And I think that we're all on the same page. So whoever comes in, they're just going to do their job to the best of their ability. And we have a lot of trust in that. We've been in enough situations and we've had enough experiences together that we pick each other up. Obviously we're down the best player in the league right now. So everybody has to be a little bit more engaged, do a little bit more. And I was really proud of Mosh and then T too. I mean, it's hard coming off the bench and you don't know, if Courtney's on the heater, you might only play 10 minutes. And then today, I thought she was really impactful for us, just her pace and her ability to get to the rim. And that's just her being a pro. And that's what we've seen from T over the last 2 years too. So there's just so much trust, whether she's playing with me, with Nay, like it doesn't matter. And that's the great thing about this group is that we really don't care who gets the credit or what's happening. We all just want to be great for one another and hold ourselves accountable first to what we need to do to be great. So that's the best part about it is that we're really just hooping. And that's why it feels so good. That's why it's very seamless for somebody like Nay to come in and just kind of do her thing because we're all doing our thing and we have a lot of belief in that.
Thank you, Bill.
Along those lines, Cheryl was in there talking about UCA's impact and that it does also prove you up to not just have to center, on a possession by possession basis. You just reacted that way. I mean, have you felt that big difference, just energy-wise? How you feel physically after a game, during a game?
Yeah, it helps. I mean, as somebody who's gone against Nay on the other side, knowing that that's the person that's behind me or, next to me, guarding Sabrina or taking a little bit of that load off, it helps a lot. And so I'm very, very grateful. And I told Cheryl it's like a luxury to have that, just somebody who's just as competitive and able to, just get up into somebody and dictate the way that she can. And then also just her ability to get out in transition, the old boards, like it's just another great basketball player, alongside of you. So that's something that I'm very, very thankful for. And just her willingness to compete on both ends of the floor too. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy in this league to have somebody who has a great IQ, but also wants to work on both ends of the floor. So very, very grateful for that. For sure.
Yes. Kayla, you brought up Lamb, and Cheryl was asked earlier if she thought she should be the defensive player of the year. Your thoughts? Do you think she should be the front runner for DPOY?
I think Land does more for us that doesn't show up on the stat sheet than probably any other player in the league. Like sometimes it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but her ability to put her body on the line, and just the awareness and the competition level that she has on a nightly basis, for us is priceless. We can put her on anybody. We can ask her to switch. We can ask her to hedge. We can ask her to rebound, shoot threes, and run the floor as well. And there's never like a second thought. It's just, we know Lynn's going to give it to us 100%. So, I think she should be in the conversation, and just her ability to get deflections, her length, block shots, steals. I thought in that third quarter, she really dictated for us, just getting her hands on the ball. When they were trying to reverse it, she got a couple deflections, which allowed us to get in transition. She changed the game, and that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? But just her ability to do that, at a high level, is priceless for us.
And just one more follow-up question on the post to people were talking about that. What did you think of Maria's minutes tonight? And she has two crucial blocks, and she played a lot of minutes tonight.
Yeah, Mosh has been the best player in Russia for like a decade. I got a chance to play with her overseas, but she also knows those players. She played with Stewie, she played with Emma, she played with JJ for 3 years. So she's been in those practices, and I think that Cheryl had confidence throwing her in there. And I have a lot of confidence in her and her ability. But I was really happy for her. It's been up and down. Obviously, we have the best player in the league, go down, and Jess got a little knocked up. So for her to come out there and just kind of be like this in this type of game, this type of environment, just says the type of player she is. So super happy for her.
Okay, what you have so weird schedule for a few times in 9 days. Is it kind of like a playoffs to go home and each other focus on them for the next 2 games of season to go home that year?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's how we want to treat it. It's a weird schedule, 9 days and 3 games, but I don't know what that's about. But I am excited for the challenge. I think that you kind of treat it like that. You get to know a team, what they like to do, getting their play calls and stuff like that. I think it's good for both teams. So yeah, it'll be good competitive basketball over the next 10 days, and looking forward to it.
Oh, good. Good.
Okay, real quick, Kayla McBride WIN. Just want to ask whether that game drive that you had or just the defense, what was your favorite play in the game for you? And for you, DJ, this is the best offense the best system that you played with, considering the great system that you played with in Connecticut as well. So for you first.
I don't think there was a specific play that was my favorite. I think it was just that burst in the third quarter. We were just getting tips and then getting out, and it was T one time, it was Nay one time, it was me one time, and that's how you want to play. That's fun, That's like the best part about it, because you're not thinking, you're not scheming, you're just whooping, and I think that was like the best part of it. That was when I got the most. That's where I was exerting the most energy, but it wasn't even playing; it was being excited, So it was a lot of fun. That's what you want it to feel like. So that was my favorite part.
Yeah, for me, I don't really want to compare, but I feel like both teams had completely different personnel. So it was completely different styles, systems, everything. But this one is definitely very conducive to my style of play as well, and I'm enjoying being a part of it.
Congratulations to both of you, DJ. You came up against Alana Smith as an opponent a number of times, and now you're a teammate of hers. You've mentioned that things don't show up in the stat sheet with her, but 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks probably hasn't been on too many stat sheets in league history. What was your perception and opinion of her when you were an opponent of hers compared to what you've seen in the past week or so as a teammate?
I mean, I know what Lan could do. I was her teammate for 3 years in college, and she might have been Pac-12 Player of the Year. Like, Lan was a hooper in college too. Early first round draft pick. So this is what she does. It's just she doesn't get the notoriety for it, but this is truly how she plays, and I've known that on her team as an opponent, and now obviously on her team again. The way that she impacts the game on both sides of the ball, high IQ, she's able to space the floor, she's able to put it on the floor, she's able to guard taller, bigger, stronger post players and post players who can stretch the floor. So just her versatility and her ability to, like Max said and I said, just impact the game at multiple levels. She was on triple-double watch tonight, so that's really rare from your 5 player.
Thank you.
Since this is a rivalry week, would you say that you guys feel like this is a rivalry now?
I mean, everybody watched the finals last year, and everybody knows, like, it was eerie, like, I said this a while ago, it was eerie coming back. This is the first time we've been back since Game 5, so that's weird. But I mean, rivalries, they're built, and I think we're still building that. And today it felt like it, but I don't want to call it that, until we have more moments like that.
And what's your perspective since you're new to the scene?
Look, I don't know what it is yet. I watched the finals just like y'all.
Yeah, and we're trying to, learn more fully about each other. What's been nice is she's allowing us to coach her in the flow of things. Literally, while she's on the court, I'm yelling something to her, and she's saying, "Okay," kind of. So it has to be, two-part deal. You have to be able to absorb the information and then quickly apply it. And she's been able to do that. And then she's got teammates that are communicating to her when, maybe there's something be a call and she's like, no. And just learning your teammates. I mean, some of our coverages, she was just trying to find her way through it. She's just a competitor. And the hustle plays are what we need. And I thought she was relatively disruptive defensively. And then, big offensive rebound at a key time. And that's what defines her, and that's what we wanted her for. And also, the big things was, just giving McBride a chance to not have to play both ends so engaged all the time is draining. And so she got life from being able to say, okay, Nate, you go chase her around. And then we saw, Mac, where she benefited from that and had some legs for some shots that she got there towards the end. And but yeah, that's with Nay, I think everybody being open-minded. That's a key. You said that they were active. You were. Yeah, I thought both teams were. But yet it was a 25 to 24 quarter. We just came off a game where it was 100 to 93. And so I think both coaches went into the game thinking that was going to be hard to do with it. Both teams really pride themselves in the defense. I thought, by the second quarter, they were getting to us a little more. We were making passing errors and, more turnovers. But our activity, that's what we do. Alana Smith is just incredible. I mean, you don't come to a basketball game and go, that's not one of the best defensive players in the league. She's just incredible in terms of how she impacts play and what you have to think about when she's in your area. So that activity, I thought our guard play was decent in terms of our activity, but 22 points in the paint in the first half, we wouldn't be bothered by. We did a much better job. When you play my-man defense, it's a team like this is just going to destroy you. And so we got a little more connected as game won.
So, two things if I could. First, just bigger picture, what do you feel like 2 games in you have learned about what this matchup is specifically? I know it's challenging when they're missing players, you're missing Fee,
sure.
But like, what do you think you've learned about that matters most to take into the next 2 and potentially if you meet them in the playoffs?
I think it's still, gathering information. I think, both the games were very different. And so I think going through a full complement of games, I think then it will feel like we have a better handle on things. So we're still learning.
Specifically to that, seeing Natisha give you the minutes she did when Courtney had 4 fouls, and the ability to get that, and Maria as well, just, the extended time. Do you feel like you learned specifically about sort of the way they match up against some of your players?
Yeah, I mean, it worked for this game. I don't necessarily know you go in the next game going, okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing. Each game calls for something different. Maybe Courtney's not out of the game. Maybe T doesn't get the opportunities that she got. Maybe Mosh, you just never know. I just know that the difference in the game for us today was up edge. And it's stating the obvious. But that's how you win hard games, when everybody's locked in on, the key players and how hard it is for the key players to try to get some stuff done. So no question about it. T and Asha and Dejanay, gave us a big lift in that third quarter. It's the what? Okay. I would say that almost after every game, I feel like I walk away saying we should have played more shots. And so as we're learning about our own team, this was a game, obviously, something we didn't have necessarily last year, in playing against some bigger teams, and like Emma and JJ and certainly Izzy. Izzy had her way in with us in the first half. It just gave us something different that we needed, a little more length, to bother what they were trying to get done. And we couldn't be such a big target for them on the inside. Our activity when they were trying to throw it in. Masha's length is incredible. Target radiance, Lamb's length and activity. I just thought that two of them together would give us a lot of defensively.
What's behind this team's defensive buy-in? What's the source? What's driving it?
They don't like practices after games, and they don't play defense, probably. I'd say it's twofold. One, personnel driven. We new personnel going into this season. That's when it all started for us. Two, the coaches changed in terms of prioritizing. We sort of hit the reset button and really studied it, so we can't continue to be in the bottom four defensive and think that the VC College team should be able to do anything. And so we looked at some ways that it could be better. And when the players brought in, it's always about the players, always. And if you want to be a better defensive team, you have to get better defensive players.
And then just what value is there to be found in learning to make the LP? Like in this stretch that you guys are going to have here, what have you seen from players just early in these first couple of years?
Keep Steve humble. All the messages I got, from Fee, how proud she is, because we know how hard it is. I mean, it's hard for New York. It's hard for players that don't have, their best players. And I think what we learn is what we know, but it gets reinforced is how gritty we are. That just throw some stuff at us. This team doesn't break. They don't break. You might beat us sometimes, but you're not breaking us. And there's a big difference there. And they have such high belief in one another, high belief, really the whole group. You allow coaching to happen, and there's nobody's sideways, and there's a belief in everything, and that collective is really strong, and so we're able to get through tough times like not having your best player.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Going back to Alana again, just beyond just the steals and the blocks, just every impact that she has, deflections, alterations, just is so consistent at it all season and throughout the time she's been with you all. Do you feel she should be a favorite right now for Defensive Player of the Year?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you how much we depend upon her in her matchups. Every time we start a game plan, we talk about what man's influence is going to be. And this one was an important one. So a player like Emma, who can chew you up and spit you out with her activity, casting her basketball, and making everybody else better and getting the easy baskets. And you're going to work really hard not to let that happen. But man, I just know that when we were playing against her in Chicago, and that's the one that Fee said, I don't like playing against her, and we saw it, and shot blocking. It's just her and Fee. The first day that they played defense together, their server was terrific, and every move that Fee made, Lan knew where to be, everybody off of so well. Lan's just really smart, really, really smart, and would absolutely be my choice for defensive player of the year.
All right, Coach, congratulations again, and to build off of that a little bit. That 16-3 run at the end of the third quarter, everything so much went right, but Alana had a couple of steals that led to about 5 or 6 points. Would you say that was two questions? One, was that just as instrumental as anything else during that run that gave you control, that you didn't lose? And second, in boxing parlance, there's pound for pound, like best fighter regardless of whatever metrics. With Alana, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, I'm sure that hasn't happened a lot in league history. Right. Would you say not just defensive player of the year, is she pound for pound one of the best players in the league?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think we have analytics, and if you look at things, depending on what you look at, I mean, I think a lot of times, maybe the general public looks at scoring and says, well, you know, if you score 25 points a game, you're one of the best players in the league. And we don't subscribe to that. We have a bunch of understated players that are highly productive analytically. I've got 3 players in the top 10 and wins above replacement butter. Depends on what you value. That means you impact the game to win. And it's not just score. You know, as we saw Lamb the night score, she had 25, you know, last time we played. And so Lamb will do that. Lamb will drive. Lamb will run the floor. Lamb will set screens for me. So from a metric standpoint, she is one of the best players, but one of the top 10 or 12 best moves in the league. I recognize the general public isn't going to say that that's true. They're going to say, sure, it's lost her mind. But that's okay. So we have the team.
To be 27 and 5 and first in the league in net rating, you have to be elite in all 4 quarters, but it feels like the third quarters has been especially prolific for you guys this year. Just kind of like a larger coaching theory question. How do you go about what information you want to give at halftime, and what's your process like in terms of making halftime adjustments?
I'd say halftimes are an adventure. Really depends on what happened. This group is difficult to sort of crash out on, but the kick's easy. It's difficult, but I do it. And what they'll say after you is, hit it. So they don't mind it. I physically don't care to do that very much anymore. There is so much trust in what we're doing with that. We're able to use video and then clean up some things. The ability to take information and apply it is what this group does very well. And before I get to halftime, they've already solved a lot of what just happened. And so I think you're in a disposition where it's so how do you go about it? It depends on what happened. I mean, you went into the halftime today talking about points in the game. We were doing some things really well, but we weren't stopping, you know, from just driving into them. And that was a big part of our conversation, and showed them on video. And you got to have trust when you are guarding a player that you know can score. It's hard to leave that player to go help. And you got to have trust to do it. And I tell them what's happening. If you do that and they get scored on, you're not getting yelled at. You keep doing it your way, and you know, then it's just harder. It's harder to, you know, listen to my whining. So, but